Hey everyone, and welcome to Cricket SWAC Game Day, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. I'm Tolly Carr in Atlanta. It is week 6. We're in the middle of homecoming season, the middle of the season, and we have some big matchups to talk about this weekend, and some eye-openers from last weekend as well. Today's show is brought to you by Cricket. Smile your own cricket. Pepsi Zero Sugar, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Now, before we talk about our future, baby, we have to talk about our past, because the SWAC gives you a rich history each and every weekend. Let's look back at week 5 now to set the table for the weekend coming up. The SWAC scoreboard, brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Alabama A&M got a win that they really needed against Bethune Cookman. It was homecoming, and the Bulldog faithful, they were hungry for a win. They get it 35-27. FAMU quietly stringing together some wins with the easy win over Valley, 34-7. Southern, this year, man, they're either red hot or ice cold. I don't know what that sound effect was about. Unfortunately for Arkansas Pine Bluff, they were red hot last weekend, 59-3 winners. State Fair Classic, all of the cotton candy goes to Prairie View A&M, 34-14 winners over Grambling. And Alabama State with the bounce-back win over Texas Southern, a quality road win, 16-13. Those are the scores. This is how it all went down. Let's kick off highlights this week in Tallahassee with FAMU.
The Florida A&M Rattlers hosted the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State in Bragg Stadium. In a game that early on seemed to be in danger of being in the path of Hurricane Ian, the weather turned out to be ideal for a SWAC matchup. Valley quarterback Jamari Jones was preparing for the Delta Devils, while Rattler quarterback Jeremy Musa was loosening up his arm for FAMU. For the first time this season, Isaiah Land would be playing without a cast on his hand, fully recovered to lead the defense. From the beginning, Musa was throwing darts. Here he connects with Jamari Shareed for a nice gain as the Rattlers, for the first time this season, scored on their opening drive, with this toss to All-American Xavier Smith. We'll hear a lot more from him later on in the game. Musa would then hit David Manigault on this back shoulder toss to keep the next Rattler drive alive. After the Rattlers went up 10-0 on a Jose Romo Martinez field goal, Jamari Jones will somehow escape the pressure and deliver a strike to a streaking Kobe Bates for a 93-yard score for Mississippi Valley. The next Rattler drive stalled, but All-American punter Chris Fadul perfectly placed this pooch punt, and FAMU's Tevin Griffey made an acrobatic save, allowing the Rattlers to down the ball inside the 1-yard line. Musa went right back to work with this dime to David Manigault over a Valley defender. Xavier Smith would catch this pass over the middle and put the Rattlers in scoring position. Terrell Jennings, taking the direct snap, waltzes into the end zone untouched. With flags flying, the Rattler defense continued to stymie the Valley offense. Kamari Stevens stops Valley right in their tracks. Smith would catch another dime from Musa and fade out of bounds. And you know that got the FAMU student section excited, as they were wearing their pink to commemorate Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Jones would take matters into his own hands with this nifty keeper on an RPO. Just as quickly, the Delta Devils would self-destruct with a high snap over Jones' head, resulting in great field position for the Rattlers after the punt. Musa hit Shareed on this post pattern, and then Jalen McLeod will power his way into the end zone with the Delta Devils in tow. Jalen Jones delivered the pass, and Courtney Cox delivered the blow. He led with his shoulder, and those flags you saw were picked up. Musa would roll out, and the X-Man would shake his defender to the corner for another Rattler TD. As has become a tradition in the Willie Simmons era at FAMU, after the win, Simmons directs the Marching 100 for a tune.
It was homecoming as Alabama A&M hosting Bethune-Cookman on the Hill. Xavier Langford runs the option, pitches to Donovan Eaglin, and he takes it in. Touchdown Bulldogs. 7-zip, A&M on top. Second quarter, Eaglin takes a direct snap, walks into the end zone. 14-0 A&M. Later, Alabama A&M about to punch it in again, but Langford's pass intercepted by Omari Hill Robinson. He returns it 7 yards, stopping a promising drive. Wildcats capitalize. Jalen Jones calls his own number, scores. 14-7, Wildcats trail. After a 3-and-out by A&M, Bethune-Cookman gets great field position, finds pay dirt. We're tied up at 14 all at the break. Second half, A&M up 21-14 when Jalen Jones throws a fade route to Marcus Riley. Touchdown Wildcats. Extra point no good. Alabama A&M still on top 21-20. Later in the third, Bulldogs in the red zone. Langford fires a dart to the end zone to Cameron Young for a Bulldogs touchdown. A&M leads it 28-20 after the third. Fourth quarter, Alabama A&M puts it away. Eaglin takes the pitch from the option, scores his third touchdown of the game, 194 rushing yards for the Michigan State transfer. Alabama A&M 35-27 over Bethune-Cookman, their first win of the year. State Fair Classic, Prairie View A&M and Grambling. Prairie View's first drive goes 80 yards in 16 plays. Jaden Stewart scoring on a 2-yard run. 7-zip Panthers. Prairie View adding to that advantage with a 26-yard Luis Reyes field goal. 10-0 Panthers, 13:08 to go, first half. Prairie View wasn't done. Ahmad Antoine went 35 yards to the house. That's an 8-play, 68-yard drive. Panthers pushed the lead to 20-0 with just under 2 minutes to go in the half. Prairie View goes on to win it over Grambling, 34-14 State Fair Classic. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Southern. It was a 7-3 game in favor of Southern after the first quarter. Then someone left the gate open in the second quarter. Southern with 5 unanswered scores. Cornelius Dyson, 35-yard pass from Bashan McCray. Then is Corian Harris, a 62-yard interception return, pick 6. Kendrick checked the rhymes and checked the run. A 29-yard run here for the score. That caps off an 81-yard, 7-play drive. Then it's McCray, a 36-yard run, calling his own number. And more from Kendrick Rhymes. A little short run here, but another big score for Southern. 5 touchdowns in the second quarter. They go on to win it big over UAPB. So let's get into this weekend, because, man, it's about to go down. I mean, period after each word. Our look at the Week 6 schedule is presented to you by Rocket Mortgage. For an expert partner to help buy your new home, Rocket can. All right, let's break down this week's schedule. FAMU versus South Carolina State, two old foes from the MEAC. You guys know Buddy Pugh and what his defense can do. Oh, I did a little rhyme there. Defending Celebration Bowl champions Willie Simmons knows those guys are coming in, and the crew must respect what lies ahead.
Yeah, we definitely know the quality of Coach Buddy Pugh is, the quality of their football team. They are the reigning MEAC and Celebration Bowl champions for a reason. You know, some really good football players. I think they have a few guys who will have a chance to play at the next level. You know, they're really talented, they're fast, they're athletic, and again, they're one of our rivals from the MEAC. And so it's going to be a great crowd there in Orangeburg. It'll be an intense football game, and it was always intense when we were conference foes. Now that it's a interdivisional conference game, SWAC MEAC gives a little bit added a little incentive to it on both sides. So again, looking forward to it. You know, Coach Pugh's been a mentor, almost like a father to me. His son Bud and I played, my last year at the Citadel together, and respect it doesn't give it justice of what Coach Pugh means to not only me but the coaching profession. So looking forward to a great game, and we got to try to prepare for a great week and hopefully continue this momentum.
Alabama A&M with back-to-back home games, and they need some more wins. They like how that feels. Hey, same thing for Grambling.
Yeah, Grambling, Coach Jackson doing a great job with those guys. They playing hard. He's not getting the results that he wants right now, but they're going to keep fighting, and we know they're going to come in here. We have a tough time beating Grambling. Haven't beaten them since I've been here. So we understand that there's a good football team. We got to be prepared, and we got to play well again.
You said it. We got to move forward. We have to put these first 5 weeks behind us and move forward as fast as we can. We know we're playing a really good football team, regardless of what records are. Coach Maynard does a great job with their team offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. They have a lot of different looks that they give you. So we got a tall task ahead of ourselves getting ready for this football game.
Okay, this one here, man, it feels like a steel cage elimination match, like Dusty Rhodes versus Nikita Koloff or something. Texas Southern and Arkansas Pine Bluff. Both teams had a lot of promise entering the season. Texas Southern has shown some promise on the field, and we know what Pine Bluff can do when they're hot. They just haven't been hot lately. Both teams coming off of rough weekends, and neither team wants to see the season slip away.
Yeah, definitely. You got to put that game past you, because we're going into Pine Bluff, another team that's just like us, a young team, looking for a win. Coach Gamble's going to have those guys coached up because they're homecoming, and no one wants to lose on homecoming, so we're going to get that best shot. They're banged up a little bit. We are as well. We just got to prepare to go in there and be ready for a fight.
We're definitely different with Skylar. That's for sure. And he's working his way back. And, that Alcorn State game was brutal, for us, not having a bye week after that, we were actually also without our top three linebackers in that game this past week. So, but we try to work with the next man up mentality. Freshman quarterbacks, they're talented guys, but they're freshmen. And, they graded out pretty low, and it wasn't good. It wasn't a good grade, but, it's one thing about seeing them in practice that really you see where they are, but it's, game day and game time speed is a lot different.
It's homecoming in Montgomery for Alabama State, and they have challenged the biggest dude on the block to a fist fight right after school. I mean, Jackson State for homecoming. Man, that would be a signature win for Alabama State and Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., but trust me when I say that Jackson State did not overlook those little HC initials beside that game when the schedule was released.
We're looking forward to being the homecoming for Alabama State. We can't wait to be their homecoming. We're looking forward to going down to Alabama to be their homecoming. So this is going to be a great game because we are the homecoming.
Our homecoming is something new. I don't know, people who don't really know Alabama State, the homecoming was always the Turkey Day Classic. So now a couple years ago, we tried to get a homecoming where the kids would actually come during the school year. So we didn't have an established homecoming date. So we're still in that stage of trying to have an established homecoming date, something that can be exciting, something that the fans can look to besides the Magic City Classic and then the Turkey Day. So that first week of October is a date that we're trying to have a tradition that we're just kind of getting off the ground. So I think when you have a great opponent, it's going to be a great crowd. So it's a great way to start that tradition.
Southern at Prairie View A&M, this is the one to watch for me this weekend. All right, Coach Dooley going back to coach against his old PV team that he led to a SWAC championship appearance last year before bolting for Southern. The Jaguars, they had a huge win last weekend. Prairie View has been playing well this year. Something, though, has to give in Texas coming up this weekend.
Everybody have that cliche of circling the game. I don't think you circle the game. I think every game is very, very important. And we always just want to go 1-0. So that game that's coming up is always the most important game for us. But, you know, of course, it's a lot of relationships. I believe in building relationships. And I believe in the only way that you can keep a good relationship when you go back to places that you accept it. So, yeah, it's a lot of guys there that I recruited, a lot of coaches that I coached and worked with. So there's no question about it. And I know it's just going to be a well-fought game, a hard-fought game with I would say two good football teams and two well-established coaching staffs.
It's a big week, you know. Guys know each other. Guys love Coach Dooley when he was here, so it's going to be an emotional week. But again, we gotta keep these emotions in check, you know, and remember what's our task, you know, what needs to be done, and that's to go out and play football for 4 quarters. Again, we have yet to do it for 4 quarters. You know, and if we can do that, we can be really, really darn good, you know, and I keep reiterating that to these young men, just so, hey, you know what, you guys are a good team, offense, defensively, even special teams, so much better this year, you know, but again, we got to put it together for 4 quarters.
Bethune Cookman out of conference at Tennessee State. TSU should be motivated coming off a loss to Division II Lane College. Hey, shout out to the Lane Dragons. And Bethune-Cookman, they tasted victory a couple of weekends ago versus Grambling, and they want to return to that flavor and let it savor.
They caught a rough break on Saturday, but you definitely know when you watch the film that it's a talented football team. They play hard and they play together. So we have our work cut out for us. We have to come up with a great game plan in all 3 phases. And we started that yesterday or last night rather, and we have our guys, we're getting ready to go to practice here in a little bit over at Vanderbilt. They're allowing us to use their facilities. So thanks to them for that. And Lipscomb University, they're allowing us to eat our meals there. So again, thanks to both of those universities. But we know we have a great football team that we have to face on Saturday, and we're starting to prepare for them as we speak.
Battle of Mississippi Part 2. Mississippi Valley State hosting Alcorn State. This will be a duel in the Delta. It does not need a lot of hype to get this one going.
You know, it's always tough to travel to Valley. You know, I think the last few times we was at Valley last year and the years before, we came out kind of slow and didn't play as well as we should have, but still came out with a victory. But just to get these young men to understand, you know, how important it is to be ready to play against a good football team that Coach Dancy will put out there, you know, in terms of what they do defensively, by him being a defensive guy, and just what they do offensively, kind of just pound the football. But, you know, just coming out of the gate's going to mean a lot to us. How well we can have these guys prepared to go play a physical ball game at Valley. So it's going to be big on us, and in terms of what we got to do to win a ball game.
We have a lot on our plate playing against this team, man. A very good football team as you watch them on film, and defensively they've gotten a whole lot better as well. So it's going to be a good game. Of course, in-state rivalry game. There's nothing. You don't have to say too much to get this, get the guys going to get, you know, against the in-state opponent. So we're just looking forward to it, looking forward to the challenge, going out here and having a great week of practice.
All right, time now for the SWAC Players of the Week for their performances in Week 5. Players of the Week brought to you by Pepsi Zero Sugar, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Alabama A&M's Donovan Eaglin, Southern's Jason Dumas, Alabama State's Nathaniel Etchner, and Florida A&M's Jeremy Musa, your SWAC football players of the week for their impressive performances over the weekend. Let's take a look back. Once again, your offensive player of the week, Eaglin, he tallied 200-plus yards from scrimmage to go along with 3 touchdowns as Alabama A&M defeats Bethune Cookman. He had 190 yards on the ground with 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 receptions for 12 yards with 1 receiving touchdown. All right, your defensive player of the week, Dumas. He was a key contributor for Southern over the weekend, helping the Jags claim that big 59-3 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. He had 5 tackles, including 2.5 tackles for loss to go along with 1.5 sacks. Dumas also picked up a quarterback hurry during the contest, and man, Southern held UAPB to 3 total yards. Let me repeat that. 3 total yards rushing on 20 attempts. Specialist of the week, Eckner, accounted for 10 of the Hornets' 16 points during a 16-13 road win over Texas Southern. He had field goals 27, 31, 42. He hits a 42-yarder, which was his career long, and his 3 successful attempts, also a career best. Way to go there. Newcomer of the week, Jeremy Musa, led the Rattlers to a 34-7 win over Mississippi Valley State. Let's see, he had 26 completions, 291 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and that win gave the Rattlers their 13th straight win at Bragg Stadium. That is the 2nd longest streak in the nation. All right, so as the Rattlers continue to strike and strike and strike again at home, there's been a clear case of the rise of Isaiah Land, the All-American defensive end for FAMU. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in the FCS just a season ago, but this year it was a little slow out of the gate. We had the certification issues in the first game of the season against North Carolina, and it just seemed to throw the timing off on this season's performance. But now, Land is rolling once again.
You had a moment during the summer where you were like, man, I think I might transfer. Like, you hit the portal, and then you came back real quick. Like, you didn't even go anywhere.
Yeah.
What was that period like for you, those couple of days?
I was watching the draft, and, like, I just saw how they were doing all the HBCU players, like James Houston, Bell. I just saw how they was, like, they wasn't lowballing because they got drafted. But I felt like James Houston, Carter at least would have been 4th round. Carter was locked down tackle. He was better than most of the FBS tackles I done seen. I got into the portal because that was the last day to actually go in the portal and be eligible for the fall still. So I just got into the portal just to weigh my options because I was like, I want to get drafted, you know. I want to put if I feel like I don't want to be a 1st round DN in the SWAC and they draft me 6th round or undrafted. I feel like if I could play 1st round football, 2nd round football, then I should be put there. After talking with people at that level and stuff like that, it made me reconsider because it's not all about what you do in the field. It's about, like, you know, size. It's about what they project you to be able to do. So I stayed because I really didn't want to leave. I really want to stay and play with my brothers. I always talk about how no school gave me a chance in high school, only but FAMU. They came and got me the week before signing day. And I said, whatever school give me a chance, I'm going to stick with them.
Welcome to Isaiah Land. His teammates simply call him Zay. His mother named him Isaiah Land, and he roams the football field for the Florida A&M Rattlers. They know him in the MEAC. They also know him in the SWAC. NFL scouts know him, and they come in pairs to see him in person. Opposing teams plan for him. There's not a snap where opposing quarterbacks don't account for him in their pre-snap routines. In 2021, he received the ultimate honor, being named the Buck Buchanan Award winner for being the top defender in all of NCAA FCS. This year was not an ideal beginning. He had to sit out the first game on a compliance technicality, and because of the delay, he was not fully prepared to play against Jackson State in the second game and got dehydrated early on and wouldn't return. That start would not deter a persistent Land, though. He would come back home to Tallahassee and reset his season. Against Albany State, he began to look like himself. Still, with an off-season hand injury, his hand was heavily wrapped, preventing him from totally grasping runners and quarterbacks. He would improve against Alabama A&M, almost being his normal self. Then came Mississippi Valley, and the cast was off, and it was obvious. He terrorized the backfield and showed why pro scouts have him ranked so high on their boards. Land is looking to close out his FAMU career with a bang. He's once again on a mission to prove he is the best defender in the league. So ball carriers might want to find out where 31 is before the play. And we'll see how this season plays out for Mr. Land.
All right, let's take a look at the standings and see how the wins and losses are adding up as we work into the middle of the season. Our look at this week's standings brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Let's start out east this week. Jackson State, coming off a bye week, they remain in first place with an unblemished record, 4-0. FAMU has won 3 in a row, sitting firmly in second place in the division. Alabama State can shake up the world with a win this weekend. We'll see how it goes. Bama State, Bethune Cookman, and Alabama A&M are all 1-1 in conference play. And Mississippi Valley State is there sitting at 0-2. In the West, Prairie View A&M is 3-0 in conference play. Alcorn State sitting at 1-0. Southern, 1 up, 1 down in conference play. Texas Southern has slipped to 1-2, while Arkansas Pine Bluff and Grambling State are both winless in conference play heading into week 6. All right, that's it for this week's Cricket SWAC Game Day presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. I'm Tolly Carr from Atlanta. Man, oh, I look back there. I see that Alabama State. I see that Jackson State. It's homecoming. I might have to go to that game. I think that one's going to be a good one. We hope all games are entertaining this weekend. We'll bring you up to speed next week right here on Cricket SWAC Game Day presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. TC from Atlanta. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend.